The last Firehawk the Shadow returns. Chapter 1. A surprise visitor. A dark cloud twisted and cloud in the sky above Belarus. Teg and Scala watched the lightning flash through the darkness. The shadow made it through the portal. Teg cried, "It's here in Belarus." Teg's heart raced as he swooped down from the branch of his tree. Scala quickly followed, leaping through the branches. Ta-da! Ta-da! The owls of Vala alarm sounded through the forest. Teg landed in the center of camp with Scala close behind. They joined Gray and Maximus. Gray's eyes narrowed. The shadow must have entered into Parodia with Skull and his rats, he said. Owls of Vala, prepare to attack, Maximus ordered. Teg and Scala joined the Owls of Vala and rushed to put on their armor and grab their weapons. When they were ready, they lined up in rows facing Maximus. They waited for the next command. Teg's wind shook, but he held his dagger steady. Beside him, Scala breathed hard with his slingshot. There was a sudden rustling in the trees behind them. They spun around. Teg raced. "Teg, Scala," Blaze called. Teg lowered his weapon, relieved. Blaze hurried over with Mother Tala, the leader of Firehouse, in the claw. The shadow had returned, Claw said. Blaze had drooped. "Our portal failed," she said. "No," Stella said. "The portal what? Most of Skull's army is trapped on the land. Skull and the shadow can't fight us and win. There are too many of us." Claw nodded. Teg glanced around. Tala was right. There are many of Owls of Valor and there was no sign of Skull in his Red's army. Teg continued to watch the shadow, but it didn't come any closer. Then it slowly disappeared into the clouds. "Why did the shadow disappear?" Scala growled. "I think there was a warning," Claw said. Gray stood beside Teg and he nodded. "I fear Claw may be right. The shadow is teasing us with the fight that is to come," Gray said. "Skull has only 10 rats with him now, but we saw what the shadow could do when it joined up with them. With Skull's help, the shadow can build a new army of species here in Parodia. We must warn our friends." "I can help," Claw said. "I need to return to Firehouse," Tala said. "Now that there is a permanent portal open between the here and the land of the Firehouse, they must be ready in case Skull or Shadow attack." Blaze looked at Teg and Scala, then to Tala. "I'll stay here with my friends," she said. "Teg and Scala need me and we still have to find a way to rescue Bart." Tala smiled, hugged Blaze. "I'm so proud of you," she said. Scala turned to Teg. "What do you think the shadow is planning?" she asked quietly. Teg sighed. "I don't know, but whatever it is, it's nothing good." Chapter 2. The search for Skull. Maximus and the Owls of Vala flew to their guard posts and Claw set up to warn the creatures of Parodia. Teg, Scala, and Blaze stayed behind to rest for the night. When they woke the next day, they went to the Gray's tree. "How can we fight the shadow?" Teg asked Gray. Gray led the friends to his study. He pulled out a dusty scroll and unrolled it on the floor. The paper sparkled and the map of Parodia appeared. "We need to know what Skull is planning," Gray said, "and where he and the shadow are hiding out. We can't let them turn innocent creatures into an army species like Thorn did." Gray studied the map but frowned. "What is it?" Blaze asked. "This map showed us where the Skull is hiding," Gray said. "But the shadow's dark magic must be stronger than I thought. It's hiding them on this map. There's no sign of Skull or his rats anywhere." "We'll find them," Scala said. Teg nodded. "We know Parodia better than anyone." Gray gave them a small smile. "All right, but you must be very careful. If you do find them, have Blaze send the signal to let us know where you are. We'll come as soon as we can. Take the ambassador with you. It might help," Gray said. They gather their things and they collect the wisdom from its secret hiding spots. They flew out to the edge of Belarus with Scarlet and Blaze's bed. After a while, they landed in a clearing. If you are Skull, they said, where would you hide? Well, the underland, where Skull and the reds came from, was called Dark Place, Blaze said. So maybe there is a hide somewhere like that. The Howling Caves, Scala suggested. The Howling Caves were where Teg and Scala had found Blaze's egg. It was also where one species, the tiger bats, had hidden. Teg shivered at the thought. Good idea, Scala said. He said. Let's start there, Blaze said. The caves aren't far from here. The friends took the skyer again. As they landed at the Howling Caves, they heard the wind blowing through the darkness caves. Teg's feathers shook. Is it just me, or has it gotten colder? He asked. Scarlet's teeth chattered. It's dark too. They took a deep breath as they stepped into the cave. Blaze lit up her feathers to give them some warmth and light. Their shadows danced along the walls as it was. Blaze had to bend low, and her head brushed the roof of the cave. Scala pointed at the ground. Look, large paw prints were pressed into the dirt. Red prints, Scala squeaked. Shh, they cried. He heard the sound echo in the distance. Blaze put out the flames. They waited and listened in the darkness, staying as still and quiet as they could. Suddenly, a loud cackle echoed through the cave. Teg froze. He recognized an evil laugh anywhere. Skull, Teg whispered. We found him. Chapter 3. Into the caves. Teg, Scarlet, and Blaze raced out of the cave and flew to the trees. Teg peeked out to make sure they hadn't been followed. I can't believe Skull's army is hiding in the Belarus, Scarlet said. It must be, so that they can spy on us, Teg said. We need one gray and out of Balar, Blaze said. Scarlet nodded. Blaze, can you use your firehawk power to send out a signal? Blaze lit up her feathers, and they shone orange and red and yellow. Then she flipped her wings, and hundreds of tiny sparks shot up into the sky. They glowed high above the caves, then slowly fell like fireworks. Great, we'll see our signal, Teg said. What should we do now? Scarlet asked. Teg gripped his dagger. We watch the cave and wait for backup. The sun was slowly setting. There was no sign of shadow, and Skull and his rats were all still hidden inside the caves. Why haven't the rats attacked Belarus yet? Teg asked. Maybe they know they are outnumbered, Blaze said, just like my mom said. Then we should attack now, Teg said. We can capture Skull and trap the shadow using the Ember Stone, like we did before. Skull's tail twitched. I think we should wait for Gray, Scala said. The sooner we can capture Skull, the sooner we can go and rescue Bart on the land. Teg said. I do not think we can capture Skull without help, Scala said. Blaze nodded slowly. Maybe we could go back into the caves and listen to what they are planning, she said. Scala sighed. Okay, she said. But if there is any sign of trouble, we get out of there. Teg and Blaze nodded. They crept back to the cave's entrance. Teg felt around in his sack and pulled out an Ember Stone. We should have this in case Shadows attacks, he told Blaze. Blaze took the Ember Stone as she held it in his beak. The stone began to glow blue. I'm glad we have the stone's magic to protect us, Scala said. The lights filled the entrance to the cave, but before friends could take another step, a dark cloud surrounded them. It's the shadow, Scala cried. Teg reached for Scala, but the shadow blocked him. It separated the friends from one another. We are trapped, they cried. Chapter 4. The Shadow. They could see nothing but darkness as the shadow surrounded them. He held out his wing, trying to feel for Scarlet and Blaze. "Take!" Scarlet called out. Suddenly, the lights lit up the darkness. It was Blaze, shooting small fireballs. One shot past Tag's head, almost catching his feathers. "Be careful, Blaze!" Tag shouted. Scarlet was trapped on the side of the cave. The shadows swirled around the friends, pushing them farther and farther away from one another. "We have to try to stay together," Tag called, but it was no good. Every time he tried to reach Scarlet Blaze, the shadow would push him away. Then Tag had an idea. "Blaze, use the Ember Stone!" he shouted. Blaze still held the Ember Stone in his beak. They could see it glowing faintly through the shadow's cloud. But then the shadow pushed against Blaze and she fell to the ground. The Ember Stone flew from a wing and slid across the cave floor. Tag dived to get to it, but shadows surrounded him. It was dark as night and Tag couldn't see anything. He pushed against the darkness, but it was too strong. Tag slashed the dagger through the air, but it didn't hurt the shadow. "I have the richest Ember Stone," Tag thought. "Ordinary weapons don't work on shadow. I need magic, powerful magic!" Scarlet Blaze struck the shadow. Tag cried. Tag crawled along the ground, searching under the side of the cave. He heard Scarlet yell and shoot Acorn's shadow. Pop! Tag heard Acorn's bounce off the cave walls, but a fast shadow pulled away from him and moved towards Scarlet. Tag saw light flash as Blaze used the fireballs. When the fireballs hit the shadow, part of it disappeared. "It's working! Keep fighting!" they cried. He looked around for the Ember Stone. There, a small blue light glowed ahead of him. Tag leaped forward. His feathers touched the stone. It felt cool on his wing, but then from one out of the darkness came a huge claw paw. Skull peered down at Tag. The Red King gave Tag a large tooth grin, then snatched the Ember Stone. Chapter 5. No way out. Skull laughed in Tag's face. His teeth dripped with slime and his breath smelled like rotten vegetables. "You walked right into our trap," Skull cackled. The shadow backed off as Skull held up the Ember Stone, his red eyes glowing. "Now we have everything we need to create the biggest army Peridea has ever seen. We'll destroy the Owls of Valor and take over all of Peridea." Tag leaped forward, trying to grab the stone. "No!" he cried. "I won't let that happen." Scarlet leapt again. He held Ember Stone high in the air, out of Tag's reach. Tag held out his dagger and pointed it at Skull. "Give it back!" Tag yelled, even though his wings shook. Skull held out the Ember Stone, teasing Tag. Just then, a brown blotter flew at them from nowhere. It was Scarlet. She scratched at Skull's face and yelled, dropping the Ember Stone. Tag dived for the stone. He backed away from Skull and held the Ember Stone close, putting it into his sack. The shadow moved closer again, swirling around them. Skull roared. His face was red with anger. Scarlet grabbed Tag's wing. "I hope Gray and the others arrive soon," she said. There was a bright flash of light, and part of the shadow disappeared as Blaze shot a fireball. She ran over to join them. Tag looked around for a way out, but Scarlet and Reggie had them surrounded. The friends moved closer together. Tag and Scarlet gripped their weapons while Blaze held a flaming fireball in its wing. Blaze shot out small fireballs at Skull and his rats, and they backed up, afraid of the friends. The friends slowly crept toward the cave entrance, but then Tag froze. The shadow dark magic started to swirl around the rats. Slowly, the rats began to grow. They became taller and bigger. Their long yellow teeth grew longer in their jaws. Their sharp claws cut like knives from their paws. Their eyes flashed orange as they closed in on Tag, Scarlet, and Blaze.